Hi there. In this video we're going to go over some multi-step linear equations. So before we do that, I want to just outline the steps that you would use to solve any linear equation. A linear equation is an equation with a single variable raised to the power of 1. So step 1 is to clear any grouping symbols. Step 2 is to isolate the variable terms on one side, and to do this we'll have to do some adding and subtracting of terms and variable terms from both sides. And then the third thing, the final thing, would be to multiply or divide to solve. Now, at any time you can and should combine like terms on the same side of the equal sign. Alright, so if you look at this, the very first thing we need to do is clear the parentheses. So that means I start with the 3x, but then I've got to multiply through using distributive with my positive 2. So that gives me plus 2x, and then a positive 2 times a negative 5 is a minus 10, or you could write it as plus a negative 10, and that equals 20. Now, as I said before, anytime that you can, try and combine like terms. So I can put the 5x, I can get the 3x and the 2x to combine to give me 5x. So my equation now looks like this. I've got the grouping symbols cleared. Now here's my variable term, and I want to isolate that, which means I need to get rid of the minus 10. So I'll add 10 to both sides, and I'm left with 5x. And then on the right side, I've got 30. Last thing to do is undo the multiplication by dividing both sides by 5. And my final answer is x equals 6. Okay, this problem is a little bit different because not only does it have parentheses to clear, but there are variable terms on both sides. So first thing we need to do is deal with the grouping symbols. So I'm going to use distributive and multiply all the way through by a negative 3. Now remember, this is a minus sign, but it's also can be considered a negative 3 if I change it to plus a negative 3. So let's see what we end up with. I've got 4 and then negative 3 times x, that's minus 3x. And then negative 3 times a positive 7 is minus 21. And then on the other side, I've got 11 plus 4x. We're going to combine the like terms. 4 minus 21 is a negative 17. And then I still have my minus 3x. I'm going to leave some space because I'm thinking if I look ahead a little bit, I'm going to be doing some adding and subtracting. So I'm going to go ahead and leave some space. Now, I need to get the variable terms on one side and everything else on the other side. So I'm going to first deal with these variables. I think what I'll do is add 3x to the left and add 3x to the right. The reason I do it on the left here, these are opposites and they give me 0x, which is just 0. So what I have left on the left is negative 17. On the right, I've got an 11, and then 4x plus 3x is a 7x. So I've got plus 7x. Now I've got the variable term, so as we've done before, here's my variable term. It now needs to be isolated, which means I need to get rid of the the 11 by subtracting an 11. And if I do it on the right, I have to do it on the left. So now negative 17 minus 11 is negative 28. And on the right side, 11 minus 11 is 0. And so all that is left is 7x. And then the last step will be to divide by 7, because I want to divide by the number that's being multiplied times the x. A lot of times when the variable terms ends up on the right and the number ends up on the left, students will mistakenly divide by the negative 28 just because it's on the left. But you really need to look at where the variable is and undo the multiplication by dividing. So I get negative 4 equals x, and I'm going to turn that around and write my solution as x equals negative 4.